Atlanta, live from K.L.P. Studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The Swanky One, new K.L.P.
and
with your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Well, hello, everyone. Long time no hear. Now, welcome back to the podcast. Now, I gotta say, Evelyn, this is no longer K.L.P. in the morning featuring
It is
Evelyn
not.
Letitia.
It
You
is
guys
not.
seen the set. This is What Had Happened Was with your boy K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas and
Evelyn Letitia.
oh my God, y'all, we are back. We're back into the studio. Welcome to the show, guys. Now, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, we're streaming it later on. And then on any audio platforms that you get your podcast from. Yes, this is the new name of our podcast that, you know, you guys saw the previous episodes, but I'm very, very excited for this change because it's branding, right?
Yeah,
You know, we got a
branding.
new logo, we got a new everything here in the studio. So we hope that you guys love the podcast that we're bringing. And also, be sure to follow our Instagram is WHHW Radio 1. Again, that's WHHW Radio 1. Follow us on our new Instagram account. We'll be publishing and uploading content for the Instagram. And then following behind will be our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel. That's coming up very, very soon. But we here for another Swanky podcast. And you guys know how we do. Evelyn, what's going on? It's good to have you back, by the way. 'Cause
It's good to be back. I be looking forward to coming and talking. Anybody who knows me personally know I love to talk. So anytime I can come and talk to y'all and talk about what had happened was, I'm always excited. And, you know, I've been just working. I'm doing some production for a theater company right now.
I've seen it.
Out in Pelzer, South Carolina at Milltown Players. We open next weekend. So I've been in stage management and props mastering mode, creating, and all that kind of good stuff, you know.
And I'm glad that you're safe first and foremost.
Thank
because
you.
we know, and we'll talk about the hurricane impacts later on in this episode. But I was really praying for you and a lot of people that's in the Carolinas and Florida because Hurricane Helene came through, and you know a lot of people did ask, hey, even my family, like, hey, y'all not doing a podcast no more? What happened to the podcast? Like,
Yeah.
hey, I mean,
Like,
it's hurricane season. We can't
Helene
right
said,
now.
no power.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. But
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you're safe. You're safe and sound.
Yeah.
You're not hurt. Nothing was tremendously damaged into
thankful.
your home as well. So I'm glad. And I did a shout out to you on the live stream on Wednesday. Like, hey, Evelyn, she'll be back here in the studio. You know, we just had to, you know, rebrand, and then we had to wait until the storm to see what it was going to do. So, man, it's good to see you. It's good to see you back in the studio for sure.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, that's our check-ins here for us. You know, school's going good for me. Work is work. But the podcast was brought to you by, speaking of work, because we got to pay our bills.
Gotta
here,
pay the
of
bills.
course. Today's podcast was brought to you by two sponsors, by the way. ProMed Consultant. Hold on.
You be trying to forget
Consultant.
the people horns. You need to give them people their horns.
Yes, I do. Like, and you know what? So you know Alex, my big brother.
Yes. What up, Alex?
Every time he watches the show, he clowns me up. He's like, hey, Luke, hey, I like, hey, that's my trademark right there.
Look, we're going to give y'all horns.
Yeah, get your horns for sure. ProMed Consulting, if you're needing if someone in your family needing wound care solutions and they don't want to wait too long for the doctor's office, contact ProMed Consulting. We are a licensed consulting company that promotes and gives out advice and solutions for wound care. If you have a loved one that has a wound that won't heal properly, we are the people to come to. We'll consult with you. We'll make sure that you get your solutions in for your wound care so that way you can live your happier life. So shout out to them. And the second sponsor, because me and you both we're workout people.
Yes.
Shout out to Crunch.
Trying to get it right. Get it tight.
Fall season is around the corner, Evelyn.
It is.
And
I'm ready to be outside with my boots.
yeah, with your boots
and
and
my
your
sweaters
outfits.
and my cardigans.
It's cardigans for me.
Yeah.
It's cardigans. It's sweaters and cardigans. Christmas time, Thanksgiving time. It is around the corner. So Crunch Snellville, in particular, is my favorite gym to go to. It's in Snellville. Honestly, the biggest and the best gym that I've been to in my lifetime, honestly. But Crunch is a gym company that just really cares about your body. No judgments. Not a slogan. That's their slogan. No judgments. But they get you right.
They get you
You
right.
know, I'm losing the weight. You guys saw my Instagram videos. I'm still
y'all,
getting it in.
he be having them thighs out.
I be having the thighs.
He be like,
My friends
the
like,
hoochie daddy shorts. He be like, I'm like, all right, keep. So you better keep everything in there.
yeah, because people know what I be doing.
Yeah.
People know it. I'm sorry, y'all. I be doing it, right? But it's for the gram, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I just kind of flex a little bit. It's all Crunch.
Yeah.
It's all Crunch that got me right. So,
Can I confess something?
Yeah.
We got several Crunch fitness places in Greenville where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first rolled by one, I saw the hand with the Crunch sign.
yeah.
Child, I thought that was a new company that they was creating some kind of chocolate bar called Crunch. I did not know that was a gym when it first came
Yeah.
out. And then I started seeing more advertisement for it in the gym. I said, oh, I thought it was a Crunch bar that they was coming out with.
That's Crunch Gym, Crunch Fitness, y'all. You guys are amazing. What you do, I honestly think you guys are the best gym in my opinion, hands down. But shout out to Crunch as well. Let me get that air horn in there. All right, so I gotta get and sometimes it's okay to have notes on the side here, so that way I know what's coming up next.
We
here.
getting older. We got to be able to
We
refer back.
got to do it. So yeah, new name. What had happened was follow us on Instagram as well. Fall season is here, like I just mentioned. I do say this because this episode we're gonna get a little juicy. We're gonna talk about Diddy in 2 seconds.
Juicy baby.
But I do hope that everybody stay safe. Weather is changing, so prepare to have your heaters on and wear proper clothes when you go outside, because you know when the weather changes, people get a little sick. Right.
Yeah.
Drink emergency. I'm an advocate for emergency super orange. You put that in juice, or you can put it in water. Boost your immune system, guys, because fall season's here. They say fall season's here, pumpkin spice season here, holiday season here, and you know they say cuffing season is here too. So,
Cuffing season.
I
feel like falling in love.
I'm just saying, it is that type of season. Now, speaking of someone who has been cuffed by police, P. Diddy. Oh, man. The stories and allegations are coming out, Evelyn. And P. Diddy did it.
Did he do it? Did he didn't?
He did.
Like, it brings a whole new meaning to Bad Boy, don't it?
Yes,
like the
it
name
does.
finally, like the evidence is matching up to certain things. I'm like, ooh.
It's matching up on a lot of things. Now, if you guys don't know by now, you probably should know already. Yeah. So P. Diddy was officially arrested a couple of days ago with new allegations coming out. He was denied, I want to say it was a $50 million bond.
Yeah, I don't know how much it was, but yeah, he definitely was denied.
He was denied that, and then his kids and his mom forgo their passports within their collection. So they took that in hopes that Diddy would just bounce back and just go to trial, deny bond.
Yeah.
Now, new reports have said that he's forming a new team for a third bailout. And I didn't even know you can get a third potential bail proposition. I thought if you get denied bail once, that's it.
No, it's the government. Anytime they can get $1.
Well, that makes sense.
You know.
But you would think, and this is an open-ended question for everybody, if it's $50 million that they're willing to pay, I don't know, I would have took it. I'm like, okay, that's $50 million.
You know, but the fact that he keeps getting denied bond, it lets you know how deep it probably goes and how many people are probably connected to this behind the scenes that don't want him out on the street talking.
Yeah.
It's easier to control the narrative with him behind bars and you know exactly where he's at. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of big powers that be behind the scenes. Because it's just like when R. Kelly went down. R. Kelly said, you know, there's worse ones than me and y'all are targeting me and stuff. You know, and so it's like, Diddy ain't in this by himself. If anybody thinks that he's just sitting up at the top of this ladder by himself and was able to get away with so much stuff all these years by himself, you're very naive. Very naive. That's what I'm going to say about that. But I think it's easier to control with him being behind bars and you know exactly where he's at.
Yeah.
You know?
I hope, because it seems like there's a trend. And it's kind of a segue to the next topic, but we're going to stay on Diddy for a minute.
Okay.
It seems like right now, a lot of people with money and power and in their position, what's done in the dark comes to light. And that's kind of scary because unlike P. Diddy and Mayor Adams, we'll get to him in a minute, there's a lot of people that are in position of power and money that I pray, like Jay-Z, I pray that there's nothing done in the dark that Jay-Z's done that way it comes to light. I pray, because Jay-Z's one of my favorite rappers. Yeah. So I don't know, Evelyn, I would probably cry.
Well, I mean, and well, go ahead and prepare yourself, because there's been reports that Jay-Z has had some, unnerving things that he's done in the past. And this is the thing. People can be highly talented. They could be your favorite rapper, your favorite singer. You can have that, and it also be equally true that they didn't live life to the fullest in its best positive way, and that they didn't harm people along the way of them rising to the top. Both of those things can be equally true. The same thing with R. Kelly. R. Kelly, all these stories that came about what he did, what he didn't do, all that can be true, but it also doesn't take away his genius in the music industry. The same way it doesn't take away all of the amazing artists that came on the Bad Boy that we're still rocking to their music to this day. It doesn't take away that Diddy did some things that, don't line up with what you would want somebody empowered to have, but the more power people have, the more they get addicted to that. And that's where you start to see the turn of all this stuff that now it comes back. You reap what you sow.
Yes.
And so one thing about me is I admire a lot of different artists and people just like you admire Jay-Z. But I try my hardest to remember not to put them on the pedestal, because we know them as the artists and what we see in the forefront. We don't know the background. And, there's that saying that, never meet your idol or whatever, because sometimes they may not be what you perceive them to be. So I'm just telling you to stay open to the fact that Jay-Z may have some stuff coming down the pipeline revealed about him that you don't want, to be the case. Just keep that in mind.
I learned to, and you're right, keeping that in mind because you don't know the type of celebrities that are out there behind the scenes, because it's a scary thing, because you for a lot of us fans, it's perceived that, hey, we know this as Jay-Z or P. Diddy or Kanye West, even, Kanye West is a little, he's a little crazy. But we see the like, oh man, we want to be just like him. Yeah. Right. But then you really see the back end of it, like P. Diddy now. I think it all went down first with the first conviction. And I always say this, and my pops, we were talking about this same thing too. It's like when you say sorry, you're admitting it to guilt. Yeah. Right. So when he went on Instagram and said, "Hey, I'm sorry about the abuse that he did with the Cassie artist," I was like, "Nah, he going down for that."
I don't know who his PR person was, or the fact that because he's been so powerful for so long, maybe somebody did advise him, "Don't do this," but he felt like, "Nah, I'm the boss," Yeah. Nah. But it worked against his like, sir. Until you apologize, you at least had a room to say, I took some medicine the doctor gave me, and I don't remember that. My mind was gone. I don't remember. Like, you had room to give benefit of the doubt, like reasonable doubt. That's my show, y'all. If y'all ain't watching it, but you had some reasonable doubt. But the second you got from that camera and said, I'm sorry, I did that. I'm like, baby, your reasonable doubt gone.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know who advising you, but you better start listening.
You know what's funny too? And I thought this, because the developing story, the FBI raided the house and found a lot of bottles of baby oil.
And with that, I'm like, did that? Because you know how some people will pull something just for shock value. It don't have to be true, but then people take off with it.
Right.
So I'm still like, in my mind, I'm like, is it true? Did they really find 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know if that's true. If you're asking me personally,
Slip and slide, get loose.
They probably found maybe quite a few bottles of baby
Yeah.
oil, but 1,000 bottles of baby oil, I don't know. Then again, we weren't there.
Child.
But I saw that, and a lot of podcasters make puns and jokes about it. Hey, yeah, you better go get that baby oil.
Yeah.
But I think it's Johnson & Johnson that was sponsoring that makes the baby oil, and they came out on social media and said, hey, we didn't do that.
Look,
we didn't supply P. Diddy. A lot of people
we
don't
did
want to be
not.
associated
We
with
did
P. Diddy.
not fill his order.
It was the baby oil for me that was a laughable thing when it came down to it, because I'm like, okay, did they really find 1,000 things of baby oil? And I mean, that's a lot of baby oil.
I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of baby oil.
And I saw there's been memes. It's Johnson & Johnson said no, and then there's been this meme. It was a scene in the Fast and Furious movie where The Rock's character it was like towards the end of the movie. I think it was Fast 6.
Sounds like 34.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. And then The Rock comes out, and then Tyree's like, hey, Mia, you better hide your baby oil. And then The Rock says, you better hide that big ass forehead.
Oh, yeah.
So
I remember that.
There's been memes about that with the baby oil and P. Diddy. But a lot of people are speculating a lot of things with P. Diddy. I think he's going down. I think it's crazy that you get a third bond, like I mentioned earlier. I didn't think that could be possible, but it is possible. Yeah. It's going to be a sad day. And I guess my question to you is, do you think that the trial of P. Diddy will be televised? Do you think CBS, CNN, NBC, ABC going to pick up and say, hey, let's buy rights to film the
trial to even think there's going to be a trial, that's up in the air, because you saw what happened to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes,
like the man never made it out of the jail cell. He offed himself. Yeah. So to say that it's even going to be a trial, you don't know. Like, I would imagine that they wouldn't want there to be a trial, because if you go to trial, yes, he has to defend everything, that all these criminal charges against him, but it also opens him up to pull other people into, well, so and so was there. Yeah, they was part of that, And I'm all of the big names behind the scenes who probably don't want to be associated with him right now. They have to think, if this goes to trial, this man get to pull me into this. I can be called as a witness. I can be called, So I highly doubt they want this to go to trial. The powers that be behind the scenes. Yeah. If it does go to trial, of course, that's going to be banging great TV for centuries to come. I feel like they would have to put it on, or at least it's going to be, on our airwaves for the longest. Every media outlet's going to be talking about it. I'm still, I don't see it going to trial. I just don't see it.
Yeah, and I hope so, because I don't want anybody to go to trial. I don't want anybody to go to jail, really. But powers that be, I think people needs to go to jail if they've really committed these heinous crimes. Yeah. The video shows with Cassie, right? It shows. We all seen the video. It's very graphic, and I think a man of that caliber is disgusting, in my opinion. I'd never touch a woman like that in all my life, and I don't plan to do that. So it's just kind of a scary thing. But I think it was one of those moments where P. Diddy thought he was super powerful, like godlike. Yeah. And then it caught up to him. And it's kind of sad, because it kind of brings me to my point of people who are put in power or have created power, and they abuse the power and not use it for good. Because again, when P. Diddy got the allegations out, he had to sell his shares in Revolt. So Vodka's not rocking with him anymore. Some of his music has been back catalog. He had to return the keys to the key to the city of New York to Mayor Adams. You want to know what your boy Mayor Adams just did? See, what had happened was
he got clank too.
Yes, he did. See, there's no there's no sense there where, again, those two people with power of B who've created power or gained power, now it seemed to be corrupt, and they're going down. Now, Mayor Adams,
talk to me.
He's been convicted, he's been convicted for embezzling funds.
He's been criminally charged.
Criminally charged. He hasn't been committed yet. Criminally charged for embezzling funds for himself with a luxurious lifestyle. Now, there's been reports $10 million so far, allegedly. By the way, we got to put quotes in allegedly because we don't want to get in
allegedly.
trouble. Allegedly,
Look, y'all try to sue me, you ain't getting nothing.
Yeah,
I ain't got it. Like Tasha K.P saying,
no.
I ain't got it. So you can try to sue if you want to.
If you want to,
you can get a little nickel. What's it called? Pickle jar of pennies that I got saved up. That's it.
What kind of a pickle jar for? Oh, okay.
You ever had like a pickle? Like after I finish with a pickle jar, I clean it out real good. Like I cut slits. So anytime I have extra little change, usually pennies or nickels, I just put it in there. Yeah. And when the money got funny during certain points, I am not too ashamed to go and pull my pickle jar out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got $5. It's gonna be in quarters, but you gonna get $5.
$5. I remember my parents. Sorry, mom and dad. Because I want to.
I don't know what he about to say, y'all. So don't.
But we had my mom had this gigantic jar of just quarters, pennies.
Yeah, like that change come in handy.
And what she would do when she's off, take it out, roll it up into like the little roll ups, and we would help her too. And it was like, you put the pennies here, and then you put the dimes here, and they seen that as an educational thing too, because it's like, hey, you're learning how to count money. Yeah. But then you roll them up and like big stacks of roll-ups. And
I don't know if they even still do it, because you used to be able to go to the bank and get the things, the sleeves that you put the coins in. Yeah. But now they have these different coin machines inside the grocery store. Like you just go and dump all your coins in and it'll issue your money. Right. So I'm like, I don't even know if they still do that. These kids, y'all kids missed out.
I know.
On stuff them little sleeves with
me and my parents. We would watch Maury while we're cutting them quarters.
The pennies and
then my mom was like, yeah, he did it. It's so good times.
Good times. But Mayor Adams.
What happened was. Again, he's been criminally charged for embezzling funds. $10 million is what, as of this recording, we saw it was $10 million. We don't know if it's more or not by the time we're recording. $12,000 a piece to Turkey. That's been in those allegations for him to travel to Turkey. A lot of people ask, hey, why he going to Turkey if he's New York of mayor? I don't know. We don't know the ins and outs of that how that trade deal was. But again, I'm really upset because again, this is a man of power, a black man of power. Now
that's what's hitting for me.
That's the main one that's hitting for a lot of people.
Even with Diddy, we can talk about how people get powerful and sometimes they corrupt themselves and others around them with that power. But specifically for people of color, we're in 2024. We should not still be saying, oh, this is the first blacks, this and this. This is the first black. In 2024, in a country that's supposed to be the land of the home of the free and the brave and all that kind of stuff, and the home of opportunity, we shouldn't be saying that, but it's still the case, right? So when you get people of color, black especially, in these places of power, to where those around them can look up to them. We hold you. You're already held to a different standard than your white counterparts. That's a given. We have a felon running for the presidency.
Yeah. So and then because I
watched. So there's a different level of standards you're held by, and so you already are under a microscope. And to do these things or either be criminally charged with these things, it's like, dang, bro, please don't let it be true. Because we need more heroes that look like us. Yes, but if our heroes are all corruptible.
Yeah. There's been, because I watched plenty of other podcast shows about, Trump running for president and Joe Budden, shout out to them. They mentioned like, hey, because they asked, will he be able to run again? Yeah. If he, and again, God forbid, but if he's convicted, is he able to run again? Everybody was like, well, ask Trump. Do you think that's different? Right?
Yeah, I don't think it's different at all. If he's convicted, because Trump's been convicted of stuff, and he's running for the presidency of the United States. So if Mayor Adams is convicted, I don't see why he can't run again.
That's a good point.
Like, the double standard is definitely there. Yeah. They definitely would air, like, oh, he can't run it. It's like the rules are never equal. And if you do set rules or goals and we surpass them, then you change the goal line. So there's always that. So that's why I'm like, when you get in these places of power, you have a responsibility, not to yourself, but to people who look like you. Because we already are playing against a system that wasn't built for us. And so I'm just like, Mayor Adams, why?
Yeah.
And I will say this, I'm going to hold out on faith that all the truth come out, because I don't want to pre-pass judgment.
Yeah,
Because right
of
now
course.
he's just been criminally charged.
Of course.
So he still has to have his day in court and try to let the due process do what it's supposed to do. Same thing with Diddy.
Yeah.
You know, we saw the Cassie tapes and people are coming out with their own stories about what's going on. But at the end of the day, they still deserve at least a chance to defend themselves.
Yeah.
That's not to say that they're not guilty or guilty, but in the very, sense of just being able to defend themselves, give that space and grace. Just that.
I do hope that Mayor Adams come up on top. I know a lot of people don't trust him. A lot of New Yorkers don't trust him. I remember not meeting him, but seeing him my second time in New York.
Okay.
And I'm walking down the street and security was around they call it a motorcade, presidential motorcade, but it was like 2 SUVs for the mayor. And he comes out, he's running from him, he comes out, everybody's like, hey, look, it's Mayor Adams, and he's waving. And from when I see him, like, oh, okay, yeah, a black person that's a mayor, I inspire that. But now it's like, okay. So I do hope that he comes out on top with this one. It's been said that as of time of this recording, he is thinking about resigning his mayoral seat so that way he can focus on this allegation. And the question does become, who becomes the mayor? Because there's not a vice mayor, right, in any state. So it just kind of, I don't know, it gets me kind of nervous because now this might change a lot of things in New York, right? Now, some things Mayor Adams, in my opinion, hasn't done as powerful yet. Maybe he was thinking on working on some stuff, but back in February, when he rolled out them trash cans, I laughed because it's like, we're here in Atlanta, like, hey, that's custom for us to have trash cans.
Yeah.
And it was like, ooh, we got trash cans now. Even though a lot of people didn't like that, I think it's a good idea because as a visitor going to New York, there are trash on the street. Like there's mountains of trash on the street. So I can kind of see the concept of that, but that's nothing new. And he presented that to be something innovative and something new. It's like, no, that's something New York should have had for years, in my opinion. But again, I'm not the politician here. So we'll, like you said, we'll wait to see what that do. I said it in the live stream, and I mean this. Andre Dickens, you better not have nothing in the dark, man. Like, come on, man. Because I said it because we went to TI Symphony, and it's so funny because we walked in there and I saw Andre Dickens, like, oh yeah, there's the mayor of New York, of Atlanta. And then I'm getting my ticket or getting my registry, and I bumped into someone tall, powerful, black man, little bald. You want to know who that was? Raphael Warnock. I turned around. I said, "Oh, excuse me, sir."
Yeah, he's another. I'm like, you bet not end up in these.
And he was like, "No, you're all right." I'm like, "Oh, you're Raphael. I voted for you." And that's what I say. He was like, "Thank you." I'm like, yeah, So it was very interesting to meet those type of people because they are in power, and I just hope that they continue on to do good work in their power, in their position. And I don't want to see a black man down. I don't want to see a black man go to prison. But again, these things are coming out, and they're coming out fast.
And I want to add to what you said earlier about being in power and what you do in the dark comes to the light. I want to say that's for anybody.
Yes.
Like that whole you reap what you sow, that comes back around. What you're doing right now in the dark comes to light. That's why I strive so hard to make sure I'm always living in my authentic self, my honesty, my truth, because what you see behind closed doors is what you're going to get out in the public. The worst thing I told one of my friends the other day, I said, when I die and go from here, and don't talk, oh my gosh, don't talk about death, baby, we all going somewhere someday. I said, all I'm going to tell y'all is, some of y'all gonna be pleasantly surprised and shocked when you go through my search history on Google. That's all I'm saying. But other than that, what you see with Evelyn is what you get, because I ain't got time to be back here acting one way behind the scene, getting out there acting another way in front of other people, and then trying to keep up with who did I act around like this? What did I do with these people? No, I ain't got time for that. What you see is what you get. So for anybody, those things you are doing in the dark, if it's not something you're willing to be like let known in the public daylight, stop doing it. Stop doing it now. That's your warning. Life gives you warnings. This is your life warning. Stop doing it now. So you can like live with peace of mind that oh gosh, I'm not running from those things I did in the dark.
Yeah.
And I also want to add right before, because we're about to switch topics. We've spent a lot of time talking about Diddy and Mayor Adams and just criminal charge and stuff like this. I want to talk specifically right now to those people who find themselves, whether you're a victim or you consider yourself a survivor of these things.
Yeah.
Whether you came out back then and said something, or whether you came out yesterday or today and you're speaking up, I congratulate you on having the bravery and the courage to do so. I know there's people on social media who are saying things like, well, why you waited this long and y'all wanted to do and stuff. When it comes to power and manipulation, that can go a whole, like, we can stay here all day and talk about how that presents itself.
Yeah.
And so if you've never been in a position opposite that, being a victim or survivor of these things, you have no space to speak on it as if you know firsthand what that feels like when you're put in situations where your life or your loved one's life or your financial stability and all that kind of stuff is threatened to where you have to make decisions to stay where you are being abused. You know, but anytime somebody break free from that, it's to be commended. And for those of you who are having so much to say about the victims / survivors, keep in mind there are people around you who have been silent in their suffering and pain for years and won't come forward because people like you and their families, this is how you're talking about survivors and victims. So they won't come forward, you know. So yeah, they're suffering through the uncles or the cousins that molested them when they were younger. They're suffering through that at Thanksgiving because they can't come forward and tell the family because of the way y'all are talking about other victims. Keep that in mind. There are some of you right now who are on your jobs being victimized, harassed by coworkers, by your boss and everything, but you won't leave. Why? Because you have a family to take care of. But you justify these people not speaking up when you thought they should have, or leaving when you thought they should have, but you're in the same boat, just a different environment, same circumstances for the most part. I just wanted to commend those people who came forward.
Yeah, it is very commendable because I've seen what abuse looks like. I've seen where whether it's mental or physical. I think the shows we watch, for an example, because we talked about it, but they do a good job at it. Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
Right. I'm on season 2 where Shannon Kane's amazing actress. She's been in a lot of stuff, but she's playing her last name Tucker. I forgot her first name in the character, but I'm just gonna say her real name. Shannon Kane's character. She's going through physical abuse by JT Tucker. That's the character name, by the way. And to see the amount of abuse, and then, you know, she's getting committed, saying that she, even though the first few episodes, you think she killed her, but, you know, spoiler alert, she didn't really kill her. Yeah, you know, her husband. It was somebody else, right? But then we're gonna blame it on her. Yeah. Hey, it's the rich housewife. Let's blame it on her. But knowing that she's been through physical abuse, right? JT Tucker, the character, football player, millionaire, he becomes abusive to her. And luckily they didn't get too graphic with the domestic violence, right? Because there are some shows that get a little too real in domestic violence. And to me, I'm like, okay, shut it off. Because I've seen it before. So I'm like, I can't watch that. Yeah.
And some people think that abuse, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, financial, some people think it's just you meet these people and it happens that same day. No, there's usually a grooming period. So it takes a while for you to even realize you're being abused because you're in the midst of it. And so it takes even longer sometimes to get away from it because you're so entangled with this person now. Yeah. And so I just wanted to highlight that because all over, you know, you're seeing Diddy everywhere in the criminal charges, but not enough people are speaking up on behalf of those people who suffered through this, and are still suffering. But being able to come forward and tell their truth, is just, you know, it's commendable.
Yeah, and you've seen a lot of these celebrities. Some of them, I would say, they've gone on platforms, podcasts, radio shows to kind of talk about it, and it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of like a meditation kind of thing. It's like a healing process, and it takes a while.
And some of them have been talking for years. Yeah, y'all are just catching up to it. There's some people who y'all are seeing right now. Y'all like, well, now why do you want to come out now? It's clout chasing. No, you're just not paying attention. Yeah. Or you heard it before, but you didn't believe it because of the power and the seat that he sat in. So now you're like, oh, well, they coming out. Everybody want to do a money grab, you know. And for me, I'm just like, even with Cassie getting her settlement, I'm like, the emotional toll and stuff it takes sometimes with taking you out of work and out of your career.
Yes.
She deserved that money.
Yeah.
Hell, like
she's an amazing singer, by the way. Great act, but you know, there's only been quite a few songs that we hear from Cassie.
Yeah.
So I think hopefully she comes back into the life of music
Hopefully.
because I think she's good at it. But you know, only time can tell. Only
Yeah.
time can tell what happens to her when she's truly. I don't even want to say truly over it, because I mean, for me, it's when you experience something like that. It's anxiety and PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it here on the platform and all our other shows. I have that severely. There's something a therapist can't cure that. That's something I'm stuck with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be something that Cassie and along with other survivors of it, they're going to be sort of unfortunately stuck with the anxiety and PTSD and learning to kind of cope with it, and then finding a meditation mechanism to kind of ease their mind a little bit when it comes down to the acts and the events that they endured.
Finding ways to function in a healthy manner.
Yeah.
Healthy, coping mechanisms.
Yeah, definitely. I know and real quick, because one of my girlfriends, she's been in, and she's experienced, she's a survivor. And the one thing she does, we're both gym rats. Hitting them weights. The beanbag, whew, let me not make sure that I'm not near her when she's punching that punching bag. Because, like, she can fight. But she's like, sorry, Kennedy, I'm just working it out. I was like, hey, I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't make sure I don't piss you off, because my head gonna get taken off, So there are ways. So we do encourage everybody to go out there and to find what works for them. And I think it's always good to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's always good to, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a close friend, even on platforms, is a good way to get it out and to talk about it. So, but shout out to the survivors for sure. Yeah. Now, Evelyn, we got a top story today.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't.
Let's do it. K.L.P.
Oh, this one's gonna be good.
All the topics, stories, and gossip. It is now time for our top story from K.L.P.
Let me tell y'all something. Y'all got to start paying these workers for what they owe. Now, we all know about it. We saw the story here. Michigan ports are going on strike. This scares me because it's perishable items that will not be distributed to these major stores because of the port workers being on strike. It's very, very sad. I've seen a lot of this type of strikes before, whether it's the SAG-AFTRA strike. Sadly, I think video games are getting ready to go on strike with the actors. I'm sad about that because when the voice actors are on strike, that means we're not getting a video game.
Yeah. And because they're competing with AI.
They are.
Yeah.
So that's scary to me. And now Amazon, I've seen a lot on TikTok videos where some Amazon stations are on strike.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've worked for Amazon. I will never do that again because it's a lot of strenuous work. That's full all day workout. Like you're going to be super sore and super exhausted. Now you have Michigan port workers. The ports where they import goods and then they distribute to the major stores, they are beginning their strike.
Yes.
They get this. What happened was the strike is happening, and if they're not paid what these workers are owed, then it's going to cost us about $5 billion. I think they said per day. So it's like 140 something billion a month. How scary is that?
It's really scary, especially since there's so many government sanctions nowadays that you can't even really grow your own food in certain places. Let alone raise animals in certain places, because so many subdivisions have taken over where it used to be a lot of countryside. So a lot of people depend on getting perishable items, poultry, fish, all this kind of stuff from the grocery stores.
Yeah.
And so if it's not there, baby, you can't really go to vegetarianism because you can't grow your own veggies in most places. They won't let you. They won't let you collect rainwater. They won't. So there's so many stipulations there, and there's been mixed reviews. Like I had, when it comes to strike, I believe striking definitely is the voice of the people to get things done. Some of our major, laws that have been passed, and if you look back in history, strikes have been the forefront of what made those things come to pass and made them possible. Now, the mixed reviews on the timing of this is because Hurricane Helene just hit.
Yeah.
So I've seen it on social media. I've seen friends talk about it. Like, yeah, we support y'all going on strike, but does it have to be right now when people are like already resources are really low? Because a lot of stores lost a lot of stuff already because the power went out and they're just getting restored. So like that's the question now that I see a lot is not so much as people mad that they're striking. More people are upset about the timing of it. But then you got to say, well, the timing of it shows even more and adds more weight to their strike because now you can say, well, see what happens if we have a natural disaster and y'all not paying these people? It can further exacerbate the problem. So that's what I've been seeing a lot of is the timing of the strike that people are more upset with versus them not really caring that they're striking because they want them to be paid what their worth is. But they're like, right now really ain't the best time since we just got hit by a hurricane and like areas got devastated that were not expected to get devastated.
Yeah, I saw some videos and
Yeah.
things are still underwater. People still don't have any power, and that's sad.
I live in the upstate of South Carolina. I'm down here in Georgia all the time. That's why people think I live here. But I remember coming up to the week of the storm, everything was, it's going to hit Florida. It's going to hit Georgia. It's going to hit Florida. It's going to hit Georgia. It's going to hit the coastline of South Carolina, which we're used to. I'm from the low country originally in South Carolina. So Charleston, all that low country area down there, the Gullah Geechee region, we're used to that flooding during hurricane season. No one expected the storm to come in, some 300 miles inland, going up to Tennessee and North Carolina. There are places, Asheville, North Carolina right now, still underwater.
Yeah.
What is it? I-40, I think. Half of it is washed away. Like you can't even get in. Like, so there's people in Asheville right now who are stranded within Asheville because of the floodwaters. They have no signal, no electricity. So you can't even get food and stuff in the way you want to. Chimney Rock in North Carolina is gone. The town of Chimney Rock is gone. So the timing of this strike is what I see a lot of people having more issue with. They're like, we need to be able to feed people. We need to get, these items out. Yeah. But again, if you're the person who's on strike, your thing is probably like, if there's ever a time to show y'all how important we are, this is the time.
This is the time.
Hopefully they can work. Hopefully the powers that be can give them what they need ASAP so that strike can end.
I think so too. I'm always going to be an advocate for everybody who does honest work should get paid honest pay for that honest work. And it sucks because we always think about, and this has been the slogan, hey, how like our stuff has increased, rent's increasing, economy is increasing. We're still in this inflation thing. I think everybody should get paid for what they're worth, especially the port workers. I honestly think they work hard, and some people might argue and say, hey, they get paid enough. Hey, they get paid a lot of money. Now they're asking for more. No, it's a lot of work because they're not just driving the trucks and distributing the items. They're loading, they're putting it on pallets. They're in this heavy equipment too. And it's thousands upon thousands of goods that they're driving to these different states to get delivered for some of these products, right? It's the same thing with Amazon. If you think about it a little bit too, Amazon, you're delivering packages and you're in heat or you're in rain, and then you got to be supersonic fast with it. You can't be slow. And it's a lot of things that go on to these type of jobs that warrants more pay, right? I honestly think teachers should get paid more, right? Because they have to deal with y'all bad little kids, and
then they call you and you act like your child. They don't do this at home. Of course they don't.
Of course they don't.
Because they're doing it at school.
Yes.
And why would I lie on your child? Like, I got friends who are teachers, so I'm going to go to bat for teachers.
I do too. I worked in education too.
And I've done some teacher cadet and different things like that. And some of y'all kids just bad. And y'all parents, some of y'all just don't think my baby would never. Yes, your baby would. There might be a baby at your house, but that's a grown man, grown woman in my class is acting up.
I've seen this one video. This teacher, she said after 27 years, her last day was that day. She's retiring from teaching because she's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I give up. I'm gonna just go ahead and retire and just live my best life. Get a small part-time job somewhere else. Work from home. I'm done.
Yeah, because I mean, and there's teachers who, let's call it spade a spade. There are some teachers, they're just there for their paycheck. They don't give a darn about it. They barely teach. They barely keep up with what's trending and what the new wave stuff is that they need to upgrade. They barely do it. There's some teachers that absolutely bully kids. You know, I saw that when I was growing up, coming through school. But for the most part, that's not the case. But I see that there's a lot of times where parents are sending kids to school not to get an education, but so they can have a babysitter. And the teachers are not your child's babysitter. Yes, they're there to teach. They help to shape them, to prepare them for the world. But that form of discipline should start at home.
Yes.
And what you find is once you call the parent to tell them that there's a disciplinary problem in the classroom, you find out that the parent ain't disciplined. That's why the child ain't disciplined.
No. Back when I was a kid, if I act up, my dad would do this too. He knows that I'm in trouble and I'm about to get a whooping. But the rest of the day, he plays it off like he forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then
You think you in the clear.
I think I'm in the clear.
Like, yeah.
He comes in with a belt like, hey, you know what time it is. Bop, so.
Thought I forgot, ain't it?
Yeah, you thought you
And
look,
you as a kid, you as a kid thinking that they don't forget. You around there being on your best behavior in the house. You doing all the chores without being asked. You don't did chores that ain't due for 2 months.
I know.
Let me go out here and chop these trees down for the fall get here.
Yeah.
Like you doing stuff that you just thinking you earning some credit.
My dad like, seems like you cleaned up the kitchen, huh? What you doing that for?
You don't got in bed at night. You don't took your shower, got in bed, think you good. All of a sudden the door busts open, the light flip on.
And you see that belt. Like, oh. See, my dad he had a switch. So like a little branch. We don't promote abuse over here. No, we don't.
But I'm gonna say this.
But
some of y'all kids, y'all will never know the feeling of going to have to pick out your own switch.
Yeah, from a tree branch.
Yeah, and don't let it be something flimsy.
Yeah. Then he gonna get angrier if it's
child. I would never want to raise my children in a disciplinary way, and I didn't get beat like that when I was a child. I was a pretty good child. We didn't. But there were some times. Of course, I
got my fair share of whoopings.
I think the last time I got a beating problem, I was like 10, maybe. Oh. But I was a pretty good child. But I don't think I would do some of the disciplinary actions that were taken against us growing up. But I will say, kids, y'all
some bad ones out here.
Child, y'all don't even know.
So that's why I say teachers need to get paid. Michigan Port people, they need to get paid.
Definitely.
I think they're going to pay up because we need them.
Yeah.
Especially places that endured or had their impact with the hurricane. Asheville, I've been there last Christmas break. It was very beautiful. We went to Biltmore State.
I still got to get there.
It's a great area.
And it's right up the road from me.
Right up.
Asheville literally is like an hour and 15 minutes.
Really? Yeah, that's right up the road.
Right up the road.
Right up there. It's beautiful out there. Yeah. The Black Mountain. We had a cabin. Well, it was really nice. It was a cabin. Well, it wasn't really a cabin. It was it was a 3-story house. It was really nice, but on the mountains. Yeah. And we went to Harara's casino. That's
Harris. Yeah.
What else? And then Biltmore Estate, and then we ate a lot of great food up there. Great time. So it kind of sucks to see great cities like that be engulfed with the hurricane, and it shows you that the port workers, distribution, trucking companies, we need them.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not going to be able to function. Some people say, and I saw this on news reports too, that some people, especially quite a few people in New Jersey, they went to the grocery store and people are back fighting for gallons of water. People buying 10 packs of water. Some people are fighting over tissue like it was back in the COVID season. Yeah. So it just kind of, and let me tell you, when that happened, a lot of people lost their mind. People were literally
It's the same with gas too, because like a lot of people are still without power. So people have all these generators, and we have another wave of storms that's supposed to be coming down the pipeline. So people are like storing up gas. And so I remember last week, and still some this week, gas station had lines miles long for people getting gas. Some people who wouldn't even try to get gas can't even get into the gas station to go in and get like snacks and stuff. So they were parking almost a mile away just to walk to go get snacks and things like that. Yeah.
One of my friends, he was telling me he was at work, and when he was at work, in the parking lot, a gentleman had a white van filled with like empty gas containers that you put gas in.
Just filling them.
But he was getting ready to fill them. He ain't filled them yet, and a thing full of groceries. And then the person that, because he worked in customer service, one of the customers was like, hey, they wanted him to call the police because they thought that they were going to blow that building up because of the lab that got blew up here, at Rockdale County. So he went out and said, okay, what's going on? And he talked to the gentleman. He's like, yeah, hey, I'm down here to get some. I'm from South Carolina. I'm just getting some groceries down here. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up some gas. With these containers up here and head on back up there.
Yeah.
It's real.
Very real.
And my friend was telling me that gentleman's preparing, deep preparing. And it's just, I don't know. It's crazy that, when something like this happens, it's almost like knock on wood here because I don't want this to happen, but kind of like a pandemic. Like people are super prepared.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, disasters, whether it's natural, whether it's a pandemic, it really shines a light on who are essential. The pandemic shine a light on nurses and doctors and people, again, like port workers who had to get our supplies and everything to us. Just like this hurricane is also doing the same thing, shining a light on those people who are essential, because you don't realize how essential they are until something hit. Even with the grocery store, like I saw someone arguing with a cashier and the lady behind was like, don't you know if she didn't come into work today, you couldn't be in here buying anything?
Yeah.
Like, so chill out. We all in line.
Yeah.
We all got to wait. Why are you yelling and cursing at her? Same thing with the gas attendants. You don't think they're essential until you need gas and the store got to be open. Somebody got to run the store.
Yeah.
So it definitely is getting there to that point. I'm just like,
people losing their minds.
yeah. And the way people are going on about stuff on social media, I jokingly say, I know which one of y'all I would want to be in my little caravan if we had to survive together. Some of y'all wouldn't be with me. Because the way y'all complain about, look, I've been without power since last Friday. We going on a week, almost a week, a little week. And I've been fine. Like I've been using natural daylight during the daytime. My house is electric and gas. So I still got hot running water. I still can cook on the stove. I just have to light it manually. Like I cut the gas and then I got one of those long fire starters and it starts. So I can cook. It's just a matter of if I get anything that's fresh, I have to cook it right then. I have no refrigerator to put it in. And ice is hit and miss. So I have a cooler that I put ice in when I can find it. That's another thing. You go to grocery stores, gas station, ice just be gone. Like people go in there, it's gone. You got to get out real early in the morning. To try to get you some ice.
Get you some ice and some tissue.
Yeah.
I don't understand the tissue thing. I guess I get it, but I don't. I mean, the tissue, and I'm just because
I guess because if you live in a house with a bunch of people, you can go through tissue faster than, like, say I live alone. So if I buy a 12-pack of tissue, that's gonna last me a little minute. At least a month and a half. Maybe 2. But if you're in a house with 5 people, 4 people, that little 12 rolls ain't gonna last you long.
That's true. That is true.
So I think that's more so why. Yeah.
I don't know. Crazy times we live in. You want to know else? What's crazy?
What happened was
Cardi B and Offset.
Child.
Let me tell you.
If the 2024 Bobby Whitney don't sit down somewhere, let me stop. Because I love some Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown, though. But the relationship, like, this back and forth and stuff.
It's a lot of back and forth with Cardi B and Offset. Now, what had happened was, we'll give y'all the lowdown. Cardi B went on Instagram Live to do her thing, and then Offset tuned into her live and said some off things that, could really set something off. Get it? Off? He's setting things off. Offset.
Set it off on the left.
I'm concerned with this couple. I believe there's something deep going on at home that we all don't know about. And this is kind of what you said at first. Like when you see a celebrity, you see the front side of it, but you don't know the back end of it, right? I get very sad for this because there's a lot of, and I'm going to put allegations, right? Because even though they might say it on Instagram Live, I'm just going to say it, allegations, so that way we don't get in trouble. A lot of cheating going on with Cardi B and Offset. Cardi B caught up in Offset's cheating with someone who may not be of the same stature as Cardi B, but it's like a quick little fun time for Offset. And
Offset's been caught so many times. This is the thing. Once somebody cheats on you the first time, if y'all work through that and you decide to take him back, right?
We remember that she was performing. It was like, hey, baby.
And some people, I mean, I'm not saying you're not supposed to take them back or you can't take them back, but if you do, it's almost like you have to try to wipe the slate clean to start over.
Yeah.
But the status of y'all relationship is no longer the same after that happens, right?
Yeah.
But then when they do it again and you keep taking them back, you also are setting a standard for how they can continue to treat you.
Yeah.
And this is not me putting blame on Cardi B. It's just a matter of accountability too. Like, if he feels like he can keep coming back every time he cheat, he gonna keep cheating.
I know.
You know, that's one of the things. And then right now, what I saw that people are talking about is supposedly she had intercourse with somebody else while she was pregnant.
Right.
And people got meme. Somebody had a meme of a man would look like he was inside a womb, and there's like a cone or something hit him in the face. Somebody talking about this Cardi B baby while she was sleeping with the other man. No. So people are making it like she was 9 months or 8 months pregnant while she was sleeping with this other man, and she came up and cleared it out, which is what people are not doing, is going back after they've made these memes and stuff to clear it up.
Yeah.
What she said was when they first separated and they was going on their separate ways, she was already a month pregnant and she didn't know. And so when she had sex with the other person, she didn't know she was pregnant at the time. So the thing that is put out there is as if she had this big old belly and she was 7-8 months pregnant and decided to have sex with somebody else, which is not true according to her. But even if she did, that's them people. That's their business.
That's their business. Now, personally, I would. If
because
you pregnant like that, like, hey, I'm no.
Because Offset, I mean, if Offset out there cheating with other women and then you go home to your pregnant wife and cheating on her, I mean, sleeping with her, then aren't you putting her at risk as well as the same risk you trying to call her out on?
Yeah, I mean that's true
for the baby. Like
that's true. I don't think I would ever go for, and I'm gonna be careful how I say this. Of a stature and caliber of Cardi B, even though Cardi B, we need an album from you. Like the singles are good, but we need an album. But she's still of that stature, that celebrity fame, hip hop, rich. You know, she's of that caliber. And if I was Offset, I wouldn't fumble that. Not just for her money and her statue, but like Cardi B seems like the person that you actually want to be with. Because I can feel, I don't know her personally, but I can tell that she's a really nice person on the outside. But besides the fame, the cameras and all that, I can tell she's funny as all get out. I don't think I would want to fumble that for someone that may not be up to her stature, whether it's money or her funniness and who she is, but just some random person that, you know, could get you caught up. And that's what I think a lot of celebrities have to be careful, right? Because when celebrities mess around, in my opinion, they mess around with these, I don't want to say non-celebrities, but just the average person. Now, you never know what the average person's intentions were, right? If they know, hey, you're a famous celebrity, I'm going to make up some story for you so I can get funding too, right? Because that does happen, right? Some people are survivors and they've been abused with quite a few things, right? But then to me, what I've seen, there are some people that's looking to, if they see a celebrity, mess with a celebrity, like, hey, let me see how I can finesse this, right? And it's sad to say that, but it does happen in the world. So I think Offset should, in my opinion, just kind of calm it down, because now you got Cardi B, you got a family. Divorce is never a good look. I mean, I think they might, and then God forbid, right? But how the way things are going, I don't think they're going to last that long in their marriage status. I think they should continue on lasting because they've been through a lot. Cardi B has been with Offset a lot. When the Migos first taken off, Cardi B was there. When Takeoff got murdered, I'm going to say he got murdered because Takeoff was one of my favorites. But he got shot and killed. Cardi B was there. When Offset and Quavo was fighting, guess who was there? Cardi B was there, right? So you need to have that person that's going to be there. Now, Offset's messing with somebody else. That person may not be there for you when something else happens, because life does happen. And then we don't have that special someone that's not looking for you or not making sure that you're okay because you've been through something else. Cardi B was there.
Yeah. Right. When you talk about celebrity versus non-celebrity, I'm gonna put it like wise soul told me that, I was dealing with at one point. We're still great friends, but we had a friends with, I'm gonna put it out there. We had a friends with benefits situation. It was very beneficial. And we would have talks. And the one thing, and he's a little older than me, and the one thing he would always say, which I had already kind of lived by anyway, was you don't deal with people who are not on your level. And that doesn't mean on your level, like financial. It's just a matter of don't deal with people who don't have as much, just as much or more to lose than you.
Yeah.
Because that's when you get into the situation you talk about, people who looking for clout.
Yeah.
They're trying to use you, or now they go, well, I'm going to tell everybody about I've been in. No. I deal with grown people. We have businesses. We have stuff going on. We ain't got time for drama. We ain't got time to exposure and all this kind of stuff like that. And let me see what I can get off of you. And let me go try to blackmail you. No, we ain't got time for that, baby. We got real businesses that we're dealing in. So I deal with those type of people on that time. Now, as far as their marriage, of course, things, are always different behind closed doors than what the public is seeing. But you also can't be the type person out here, got your wife looking stupid every time. And of course, she has some accountability in that too, because she taking it back. But then get in her comment section on her live because your chest tight. And then you trying to expose her. Because keep in mind, the back and forth that y'all are doing, y'all got 3 kids now. Together.
3 kids.
So the internet lives forever. Y'all, they gonna have to see this one day. Y'all going back and forth. You calling her saying, "Oh, you slept with somebody while you was pregnant," and she calling you out. That back and forth stuff, it ends up hurting the children more than y'all hurt each other.
I think so too.
And
a lot of kids, they have phones now.
Yeah, and the way Cardi B,
so.
And as far as them divorcing and stuff, the way Cardi has said she was gonna leave him so many times and hasn't, always taking him back. I believe it when I see it. Let me just say that.
That's a good point.
I believe it when I see it. But I don't get too entrenched with people's issues like that. Because again, they're fighting today, they're calling each other out on social media, and then tomorrow they're at a party together, hugged up, kissing, working on baby number 4. So let them people do what they're gonna do. Don't y'all be losing sleep over people that ain't paying y'all bills in y'all house. That can't afford to feed you right now. Like, no. Yeah, some people be going hard in them comments.
They do.
Like they was there in the bedroom with them. And if you was, either spill the tea or shut up.
I think it's one of those things, and I'm just loading up here because I got a.
I thought you was about to hit a horn for me. I was ready. I was like,
Nah, I'm getting ready to get up a song here, but to continue my thought too is, a part of me thinks, yeah, they're going through something, but a part of me thinks that they're doing it on social media because we're in this society that social media sells, right?
Oh,
you got the celebrities, got some drama. Let's expose this out on Instagram because it's working, right? Podcasters are talking about it. We're talking about it,
which means y'all better be following us to get our likes and comments and shares.
Yes, please. By the way, I like that. I like that plug.
Segue
to that plug. So it just kind of. It's kind of sad that they're doing this on social media, but it sells, right? The Shade Room picked it up. A lot of podcasters are talking about it. But I think this is something that they've got to really talk about. If they're really going through something, again, we don't know what goes on at their house. But if they're really going through something, this should not be a social media thing. This should be, hey, we need to go to counseling. Hey, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this in private. Yeah. Because what you mentioned, kids today, they're probably, I think they're already seeing it because at a young age, everybody has an iPhone. 2-year-olds got an iPhone.
And at least their oldest, like he has 3 kids already outside of her that she willingly has taken on as hers. So she treat them no differently than their 3 together. But they're out of their 3 together. Culture definitely is at an age now where she understands what's going on around her. Wave may not be so much just yet, but culture definitely. And you talk about him cheating on somebody like Cardi B. I'm gonna say this for people in general. Sometimes when people get money, whether you're man, woman, whatever, you now have access to people that you probably wouldn't have access to had you not been of the celebrity status that you are or have the financial status that you do. So sometimes people get that all of a sudden, that attention, and like, oh, these women want me. The question you got to ask yourself is, would all those women want Offset or Cardi B for that matter if they weren't at their status? And that goes back to what you were saying. You're willing to blow up your whole family life for somebody over here that probably wouldn't even give you 2 seconds out of their day if you weren't on the celebrity status that you're on.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen that happen to people. Like, they become successful in their businesses, successful in this area, and all of a sudden they get to acting funny because now people that they couldn't attract before are now attracted to them.
Yeah.
And it's a false attraction. Because I'm like, where were the same person was in your vicinity, knew who you were before you got this fame and money and stuff, but now all of a sudden, when you gonna take me out?
When you gonna take me out? Catch me out?
When we gonna catch up? Like, we ain't never really talked before.
I am the prize. I'm sorry, I had to.
Or damn, you big money. Now I see you big money.
Yeah.
Damn, you always been thick though. I always liked the way you look. Oh, you did? Oh, you always liked me? Really?
That's how people talk to. So especially here in Atlanta.
Really?
It's so funny.
Y'all don't get that fake and phony from me.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Cardi B and Offset. Hopefully y'all figure that thing
Hopefully
out.
y'all figure it out.
I really do. I gotta just kind of a shout out, and this is
Okay.
something. Joe Budden, I'm sorry, I'm stealing this from you. But
Joe Budden, if you ever see this podcast, which I hope that you're tuning in,
so.
you got to invite Kennedy to you. He is your biggest fan.
I am.
You be
such a
getting shout outs
huge
and
fan.
I'm gonna start charging you every time he say your name. We're gonna send an invoice to y'all's podcast because we over here shout y'all. But you got to get him on your podcast or at least inbox him or something because he's a
Please.
huge fan.
Please, and hopefully it up. I thought we were gonna work it, but it ain't working. So I was gonna play Outstanding. Let me see. Let me retry this again. So Outstanding is a song that they play when someone.
See, just how you know you got real over here.
Yes.
Because we give you live real when stuff malfunctions.
I know. Live and real.
Real love.
Whoops, sorry. I gotta send. This is not really a shout out, but it's a rest in peace.
Oh, let me quit dancing.
Sorry.
It was
gonna be like,
I'm doing
somebody
and
died.
rest in peace. Oh,
Rest in peace, John Amos.
Amos.
Sorry. John Amos died at the age of 94?
I think it's 84.
84. I want to say this one hurts because I remember watching him back in when I was a kid. Like, I didn't know too much about him in the older shows that he was in because I was only a kid. But I've seen him in
I'm just a baby.
Roots. He was in Roots.
He was in Roots.
I've seen Roots.
He played Kunta Kinte,
Kunta
the older
Kinte
version.
in Roots. He worked with Tyler Perry. I know Tyler Perry on his Instagram. He took that. It was hard for him because this was another serious actor and one of our. Oh well, I can't say mine because again I was a baby, but a lot of people say he was one of a father figure to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. He played a dad in a sitcom, right?
Good Times.
Good Times. So you got Good Times from him, and then you've got Fresh Prince, and then I gotta say, I know he's been canceled, Bill Cosby Show, but that's a little different now. So a lot of people took that one hard. I took it hard because I seen him. He's an amazing actor. There was this I forgot what movie that he did with James Earl Jones.
Oh, that was Coming to America.
Coming to
He was
America.
the owner.
Yeah.
He was Lisa's dad, and
So-
they had the McDowells.
Yes. And that image I saw, like, damn, we just lost James Earl Jones a couple weeks ago, and now John Amos.
And you know, my dad was born in '67, and you think about Good Times being during that era. My dad, even though he had his father in the home, a lot of people who didn't have fathers, James Evans was the father figure that a lot of people grew up with. Well, he was their television dad, you know. Before there was the Cosby Show, you had, you know, James Evans as the father figure, and it was even more heartbreaking on the show when his character was killed off. You know, everybody always go back to Florida and the meme of damn, but that was her was her release of her losing her husband on the show. But I can also imagine that in real life, that was a release of the frustration of this amazing black father figure that we had on television. Was now taken off television. But yeah, amazing actor. He has his son Looks just like him, just light
Really?
skin. He has biracial children, but his son, I'm talking about the nose, the
features.
eyes, the shape of the head, everything
Yeah.
looks exactly
Yeah.
like him. So a lot of our greats are gone, and because we just lost James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, and I know we're talking about John Amos, but this goes out to Maggie Smith too. Maggie Smith, she played, I can't pronounce that name in Harry Potter, her character. I knew her from quite a few older movies.
Professor McGonagall?
Yeah,
I think I said
McGonagall.
it.
I can't pronounce it because
Her.
I know I got a lot of Harry Potter friends, and we were talking about it, and I kept saying her character name wrong, and they screamed at me.
Yeah.
But I get it; they're fans. I've watched her in a lot of British type movies, and this one movie John Madden did, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. It was her, Judi Dench, Dave Patel. Tom Wilkerson was in the first one.
Okay.
Richard Gere was in the second one. Who else is in it? I think that's all the actors I know, and they made 2. I want them to make 3, but they made 2, and it's
watch
such
that.
good because I worked in hotels, so
Okay.
like I could kind of relate to the movie. Good movie. Maggie Smith did amazing in that movie, so I'm really sad about that one. She was a little bit older than John Amos, so I mean,
Yeah.
she, but sad. So we're losing a lot of we losing too many people, and it's scary out here.
2024
So,
just like
before we
come
move
up
on
out
to
of
our
there.
final topic, what you were saying? I'm sorry.
I said 2024 just taking people like, come on up out of there.
Yeah,
Like-
hey, come on up out of there.
I'm still mad I was doing the robot.
Yeah,
My
I saw you like.
rest in peace. I was like, ugh.
You're like, ugh. So I do say this to say, everybody that's living life now and today, live life.
Yeah.
Take your life importance. Cherish it because it shows you it goes by and it's quick. It's very, very quick. And that's something I learned because I lost my grandma Dot a few weeks back.
Yeah.
So we were, I think me and my dad and my siblings were closer now than ever because that's the last grandma to pass away was Grandma Dot. I have no more grandmas that are living right now. Got quite a few granddads, but no more grandmas that I can remember that's living. So, we cherish life is the lesson here, y'all. Outstanding. Joe Biden, shout out to you, man, though.
What
'Cause
y'all know
I
about
stole this idea from him.
Let y'all know about the Gap Band.
Yeah. I know a little bit.
That's Uncle Charlie.
Hey. I love Charlie Wilson. Me want to shout. All right, now let's get to the last topic.
Okay.
And this last topic I sort of talked about on the live stream Wednesday.
Okay.
But I'm glad we're talking about it again today because I wanted to get your take on it. I've watched quite a few YouTubers lately.
Okay.
They're switching up their flow with their content creating.
Okay.
There's a lot of YouTubers that are coming out. John Morrison, Marcus Brownlee, Raven Elise is another great one. I love her. She's amazing.
Okay.
But a lot of these YouTubers are saying, I'm tired. This is not the flow I want for my YouTube to go. And we were talking about it, and this is kind of a conversation about mental health and how it affects you mentally when it comes down to content creating. Because there's a lot of not only YouTubers, streamers, Kasanek, I think he's going through some stuff because it's the expectation that he has to hit a certain number because now he has that newly fame. And I could tell it's kind of, he's tired.
Yeah.
Right.
And then when you are a podcaster who like Kasanet, when you are just high energy person,
Yes.
your base begins to want you to be there all the time.
Yes.
And so you always got to feel like you're on. That's why here I like that we're discussing these topics and our natural just personas come out. Like we don't have to come in here and we got to make sure we're up here on 10 and all that. No, we ain't got to do no gimmicks.
Yeah, nah.
Like naturally, I'm just funny. If I feel like there's something funny I need to say, I'm gonna say it. But that can be exhausting in itself if that's what And I'm not saying that being unauthentic, but when your platform is based off of that type of energy all the time, Your fan base expects you to stay right there. If you're doing all these pranks and stuff, they're expecting you to do those pranks and keep raising the bar every time. And so now you got like, oh, shoot, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm going to come up with next?
Yeah, and then and I've learned it with a lot of YouTube channels, not just the few I named, but quite a few channels where their content, I find myself like just clicking off because it's not original anymore.
Yeah.
It's, hey, sponsor me, and hey, I said this in my new book. By the way, go buy it's ads all the time, and the content doesn't really justify what you're doing, right? If you're unboxing, it's boring, and it's like, okay, I'll just watch something else, because it's you seem a little bit uninspired with your content creating, right? And then that's why a lot of people I see now, a lot of people are pivoting from YouTube, believe it or not. A lot of people are going to this audio space, podcasting, radio show, and then they're going into tech companies where they're sponsoring and buying into these tech companies, and then now they're selling their product, and then they're making monetization in that era as well. And I think that's very interesting. I think a lot of people are figuring out ways to change the game a little bit, because they've started in YouTube and they're just making content because they have to. Yeah, it's their job. That's their full-time job, is to make content. And then I remember when YouTube used to be fun, right? People would just do these crazy videos, put it together, upload it, and then didn't think about monetization, didn't think about that. And a lot of YouTubers, when they come out in there, they come out in a personal video where they say, hey guys, mentally, I can't do this anymore, or I'm taking a break, or I'm firing a whole team because I don't have a purpose for them anymore, because that's not the content that I want to make. And it's very interesting. I think a lot of people are understanding that YouTube, even though YouTube, they're still number one in the media space and networking with video, I think a lot of people are finding ways to pivot, because they're getting back to the role of creating and having fun creating, right? And that's kind of one of the things why I do YouTube and I do media and stuff, because it's fun to do. Yeah. Right. It's never, oh, it's a full-time job. Oh, I just got to do this because it's my job. Right. So it's interesting. It's interesting when it comes down to content creating, and a lot of people really losing their, I don't want to say lose their mind, but mentally it's affecting them, and they quit. And it's so interesting. So I wanted to just kind of get your take on mental health in this space, because outside with YouTube, I know you do your acting and singing and in your band too. So
Miss Busybody.
Yeah, busy. But do you have fun doing it?
I have absolute fun. I have so much fun that there are so many videos that I've created content wise that I haven't even posted. Like, because between working, doing production, acting, and then I'm creating content at the same time, by the time I, take pictures and video or something, I'm already on the next project. Like, so it's like I got catch up to post stuff from 3 years ago. That I have so much content. Yeah. And after I finish this last stage management job right here, I'm still gonna be working on another theater coming up. I'm a costume designer and set dresser and stuff like that. But stage management takes up a lot of your time, because you got to be at every rehearsal and stuff. Yeah. But I'm definitely gonna take time to really start getting a lot of my content out. But I love making content, and when people watch my stuff, I am never, I come across as very goofy, because I am. I have so much fun. I be in my house just laughing out loud by myself. Like, just laughing out loud. Last night I was thinking, as I was laying there in the dark, I was like, what if I start to doze off and the power flip on, and I forgot to turn the light switches off that I cut on. Oh man! And the lights come on, I just freak out. Yeah, like I started laughing out loud, because I just saw myself freaking out, and I was like, that would be hysterical. Yeah. But no, this is unique. I like being in the space of YouTube and stuff like this, because we have some age between us. I think about 8 years. And y'all hear me bringing up our age difference a good bit. Not because I look at him as beneath me or I'm trying to son him, but even a year's difference between people's ages when they're born can be a whole world of different experiences. Technology is readily changing. Things happen that fast that some things I absolutely were there for at the beginning of. He probably doesn't remember because he was a lot younger. But I also remember when YouTube first started, when it was created. some of the Gen Zs that now can call themselves content creators or YouTubers, those are new words in our lexicon. Those words were not created in the dictionary. Before YouTube was created, there was no such thing as a YouTuber or a content creator. Those are new words that we got to see and experience. But I remember in the early days of YouTube when it first started, and they was reaching out to people to get people to buy into this thing, to put your content up. And YouTube pays now. But in the early days, you really was getting cut some checks. Yeah. Like nowadays, to get monetized, there's so many hoops you got to jump through. Yeah, because everybody's on YouTube. But in the early days, you was getting paid bank, and I wish I would have started way back then when it started. You know, but I have not gotten tired of it. But again, that's because I live in an authentic way that whatever comes out, and I tell people, what you see is what you get. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to tune into my YouTube, baby, don't tune in. I ain't holding up to your head. But I have enough interesting stuff in my journey that I've been on, and me sharing experiences behind the scenes of stuff that goes on. People take an interest to that. Yeah. And it never depletes me because I'm not trying to be on. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to come across as somebody who's caring or
it comes naturally.
It just comes naturally. And I think people, for the most part, they can pick up on, I ain't gonna say for the most part, but most of my followers pick up on she's very authentic. Like she's not just putting this out there. So I haven't had the mental exhaustion from doing this. I definitely have seen it in other people.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it lately, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and I've even when it comes to like followers and stuff. One of my friends posted the other day about she was trying to do something, and she's a content creator, but she also is very skilled. She does hand stitching and sewing and everything. She crochets. When I tell you she crochets bucket hats and backpacks, and she has a phenomenal business. Her name
crochet our logo.
She I definitely will reach out to her. Shout out to Whitney. Yeah,
hey, Whitney. Oh wait.
And make sure we plug her in there. But she had posted the other day, and I'm a find. Because I want to make sure I talk about this. But she was posting about how people are more concerned with your followers and stuff now than actually the content and stuff that you are creating, the gifts that you have. As soon as you try to sell something, like, well, how many followers you got? And so when she said that, I went back and I talked to her and I sent her this message. Let me read it to you here because I want to give you the full scope. So what I said to her is, I hate that. I hate that followers have been what people have dumbed your gifts down to and your talents down to. Yeah. I said, it's the same with acting. I'll see certain casting notices that will want you to have a specific baseline number of followers to even be considered. There's been casting notices that I went and try to like submit myself for. And the first question, well, how many followers you got on IG? I'm like, you trying to make a movie? Do you want good acting, or you want to know how many people? And I get it; they want to make sure that people going to see it. Yeah. But do you want a whole bunch of people to see it, and then the acting and writing is piss poor? Yeah. Or would you rather have a phenomenal movie that maybe 5 people see it, and it's so good they go and tell 10 or 20 other people, and it exponentially grows, right? But I continue. I say, I see that with casting notices that I want you to have a specific baseline number of followers to even be considered. That's why most artistic works in the mainstream are few and far between. Popularity is being played above gifts and talents. Never mind the fact that most of those followers, in quotes, are paid for through third-party sites and not even real people doing the following. I can't tell you how many emails I get from people, hey, we can get your follow count up. Just pay us this amount of money. And I know that certain people are paying for followers. Yeah. So when you ask me about my gift and talent, or in Whitney's case, she's a creative person who actually are making handmade items. When you ask about those followers, even if I give you a number, you can't even vouch if that's real, like active followers. Yeah. Because if they're bots and you just got somebody on your project who has 100,000 followers and 99,000 of those are bots, you still only getting 1,000 people seeing it. Versus somebody who has authentic 3,000 followers who actually are looking at their stuff and buying into their content, totally different. So I go on to tell her, I said, that's why I just stay in my lane, connect with other highly talented, dope individuals like yourself, and continue to create my own content. What is meant for us will be. Followers be damned. A following count can never trump what the universe has already prepared for you. In other words, what is meant for you is going to be meant for you. I felt them horns coming. That's why I paused. I felt it. See, that's why we together.
Like,
he read that energy. He caught that assist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I think that's another part of the mental piece when you talk about these YouTubers. Yeah. Some of them, when they started, their base was, I want to be well known and get all the followers. Whereas when I started, my whole thing was I want to be able to do this and have fun. Whether one person watches or new people watch, I want to be able to do that because this is a healing process for me to be able to live out loud and laugh and have fun in ways that I didn't always have when I was growing up as a youth, and even in my 20s. And on this side of 35, I'm like, it's a whole different world. And so if I can do healing for myself through this content and somebody indirectly is healed or, I look forward to doing this. So it's never about the followers or the count. So that's an added pressure to the mental capacity with some YouTubers and content creators when you have that as the background driving force behind it. Yeah. If your foundation is, I want to do this because I absolutely love it, regardless of who's watching, whether it makes money, if that's your foundation, your mental health doesn't suffer in that same way. Yeah, you'll still get tired at times, but you don't feel mentally depleted like you can't keep up. Yeah. So that's what it is. If I'm doing content and somebody says, well, I haven't seen you post anything the last 2 days because I took me a break.
Because I get that a lot of people too. Because a lot of our fans, they want us to do podcasts every single day. It's like, we got to have a break in between that because it's a lot of a thought process, and I would prefer us take a couple of days off and then refresh, recharge, re-energize. So that when the lights come on, the cameras come on, we have that energy.
Absolutely.
And then we have more topics to talk about too, right? I think I'm starting to see where some YouTubers, they're starting to pivot back on like their daily upload or all right, we got to upload Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, half upload on Saturday, break on Sunday. Oh, we got to get back on a Monday, Tuesday. Then your ideas are not as fresh, right? Because you're talking about the same things, and then nothing. Especially if you're a podcast or a news station, you don't really have much to talk about if you're on every single day. But if you take that little breathing room there, now you have it to where you have some content to talk about every day. Unless you're ESPN or Pat McAfee or like sports shows, because there's always stuff going on.
But even with them, they have a rotation of hosts and crew and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, from this podcast, you're going to get an episode at least once a week. And sometimes maybe more than that, but at least an episode a week. Yes. And then we plan on being out amongst the people. So you may get live feed from us. Yes. That's not necessarily a podcast episode, but we live on location and interacting. And that may go up as content on our IG and YouTube channels. Yeah. But we dedicate ourselves to at least giving y'all one episode a week, and that allows you to fully catch up to what's being talked about and things like that. That's why these episodes usually run about a little over an hour, because we want to make sure you have enough, stuff that you can listen to.
And there's a lot of podcasting, and with this show and then other shows of ours, I'm trying to figure out ways to go about an hour, because I'm seeing a lot of podcast shows, they're like 2 hours. Joe Budden podcast, sorry Joe, 3 hours long. Right, Rory and Maul's podcast, 2 hours long. They're long podcasts because they're taking that time. They're analyzing everything. They're rested, recovered, and a lot of content people, they're starting to see that, so that way they can do that long form content. And I bring that up because a lot of people don't. You'd be surprised. A lot of people don't agree with that because a lot of people are selfish and they want content every day. Yeah. Right. But I would prefer you take your time and you cook your project a little bit, so that way when you upload it, you kind of giving me something like a long form, and it's a lot of information. I can really enjoy the content, whether it's a podcast or a YouTube video. Quite a few YouTubers, they're doing this every single day, and I'm clicking off. It's like, hey, this is boring.
Let me tell you,
you're not even trying anymore.
Because Kenny, I don't know about you, but I love, like I said, I love doing this. I love that people watch me, whether it's on this, whether it's on my own personal page. I love that. But I'm quick to tell people, baby, I'll work with you. but I don't work for you.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna come in my inbox and dictate how often I should be posting and what I should be. Baby,
People want more.
because that does become a thing. I'm glad that we're in demand, but you can't demand me to do something beyond what mentally and physically I'm able to do at that time. So yes, I can work with you, but I don't work for you. That's a whole different
whole
ball
nother
game,
monster.
you know. Especially when you ain't paying, but you can be a sponsor to the
Yes,
show if you want to,
the
and you know.
HW podcast.
All that
for
good
sure.
stuff.
Y'all
If you
can
want to buy in, you know,
buy
see us
in
blow
for
up.
us, you know. So shout out to all the YouTubers though, for real.
Shout
I
out.
hope you guys. I
Yeah.
hope a lot of YouTubers figured out. Some YouTubers they're figuring. it out.
Yeah, and please rest your mental health. Take a break.
Rest your mental health,
Yeah.
and yes, like Evelyn said, take a break. Start podcasting too. Let me tell you, y'all YouTubers that for some reason don't want to come to podcasting, it's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's the new wave right now.
But you know what? They ain't got to because Kennedy and Evelyn here.
Yeah,
we're
we
here
here.
to serve your needs. We're here to
Watch
fill
our
in the
stuff.
gap. If they ain't want to come over here, we good.
Yeah, watch our stuff for sure. So we're gonna wrap this podcast again. New name, What Happened Was Podcast. Abbreviation WHHW. Evelyn, it's always been a pleasure.
Always
we
a
got
pleasure
an hour
is
and 30
mine.
minutes in with podcasting. So is that long form podcasting that we giving y'all? Please be sure to follow our Instagram. It's WHHW Radio 1 is our Instagram page. Following behind that will be our Facebook and YouTube. We're going to be uploading content there as well. And we might be thinking about streaming this podcast show on Instagram for the channel. It's a lot of technicalities that we got to work out on that one. So it's coming up next. Evelyn, it's been a pleasure. Give it up for Evelyn, man. She's back.
I'm back.
She's back. So we're going to wrap it here. Please stay tuned for next week's episode. We're going to be back right here for next week's, the newest episode of the WHHW. What happened was podcast. Until then, stay swanky, stay safe. Peace.
Deuces.
Atlanta, live from K.L.P. Studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The swanky one, new K.L.P.
and
With your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.